y'all, what's up? Chad Wright coming to you here once again on the channel Team Righteous, and today we have a 2008 GSXR 600 on the dyno. We're not doing any dyno pull video today. We're already done with the bike. We had to do some repairs to it, and we were just testing it on the dyno, and I had to do some tests and make some pulls on it to make sure everything was fixed. And I thought, while I was at it, I said, let's go ahead and test these modes out. So from 2008 and on, for the GSXR 600 and 750s, they had the mode selector switch. 08 to 10s had A, B, and C mode, and then the 11 pluses only had the A and B mode. So anyways, with that right there, the reason for that was that you could have all the power in A mode, get a little bit less power in B mode, and then C mode was to pull all the power out. So the reason why they'd done that was for people that were new riders, so they didn't go out there and get on a bike that had too much power for them and got away from them. So that way they could start off on a lower setting, get used to it, and then step up as they needed to. Or if you get out in the rain and stuff, if you go out there and whack on the throttle and the tire's wet, it's just going to spin and possibly cause you to wreck. So a lot of people use it for a rain mode. Anyways, this can also apply on the Hayabusas and the GSXR 1000s as well. They've had them since 07 for the 1000s and 08 and up for the Hayabusas. So anyway, like I said, we wanted to test this right here out. I was curious myself. I said, hey, let's I gotta test the bike anyway to make sure that we fix the problem. So I wanted to see what kind of results we could have by doing this. So anyways, I'm gonna show y'all some dyno graphs. They're not overlaid because our dyno system doesn't allow us to do that currently. So I can't overlay them and show you, you know, what it made at one versus the other at the same time. But I can show you what it made power-wise and torque-wise, and then show you what the peak number was in the certain places and everything like that. I just can't show them overlaid at the same time. So anyways, I'm gonna switch this right around and let y'all see this. All right, so here we are with our very first pull that we made in A mode. As you can see down here at the very bottom, it made a peak of 104.9 horsepower, and it's right here at 13,400 RPMs. So it's going to be your peak right in there. And then over here is our peak torque. So peak torque is 45.1 foot-pounds of torque at 11,450. All right, so let's go over here and switch it to B mode and see how much power they pull out of this thing. All right, y'all, so down here in the bottom right, as you can see, and up here at the top, we are making 87.58 horsepower. So it has pulled 18 horsepower away from it, and it's also not peaking as late either. So this right here is hitting a little bit sooner and then kind of flatlining across through here. And what they're doing is they're closing the secondaries off. So that's how they control them. So your secondary throttle valves, those are what controls the power, and that's what the different modes do. So here we are, peak torque was at 45.1 earlier. Now we're at 41.7. So there's not so much torque falling off as later in the RPMs it starts just closing it off, closing the throttle plates off. So it's restricting your top end whenever it's pulling. And these are all in 6th gear. So I didn't make pulls in 1st and 2nd and any of that stuff to see how much it really restricts down low, which it probably restricts even more. So this right here is just, you know, what it's doing in 6th gear. And whenever you are like in your lower gears, whatever, usually they're all restricted even more. And this is a completely stock bike with just a slip-on it. So it's not, the ECU hasn't been touched at all or anything. This right here is just the results that we're getting with a stock ECU and a slip-on the dyno. All right, so let's see how much power they pull out in C mode. So here we go, 62.57 horsepower at 11,450 RPMs. So we fell off a whole lot of RPMs. We were way out here on the previous run, or on the A mode, and over here we're way down on torque. And then your peak torque is going to be over in here around 6,000, and it's down to 33.6 foot-pounds of torque. So they're really pulling it away there. So you're down 25 more horsepower, or a total of about 43 horsepower from A mode. So it's pulling a lot of power out. It's very good if you wanted to start somebody out on a, on a sport bike, on a 600, 750 especially, or 1000s and boostas. Definitely start them off in C mode. Definitely can help somebody out to have a bike that's not going to get away from them. 62 horsepower is still faster than most any other like smaller sport bikes. So this right here would be in comparison to, say, a Ninja 650. The Ninja 650s are not like the Ninja 600s or the GSXRs that most people are thinking of. The Ninja 650s are more of a sport touring kind of bike. They make less power. So as y'all saw on one of the previous videos, Amos's Ninja 650, or not Ninja 650, his Vulcan 650S, it made 61 horsepower on this dyno here, and that uses the same motor as the Ninja 650. Not sure if it's a little detuned or anything from the factory. So the Ninja 650 may be 65 horsepower or so, but you're in the same range as this right here is in C mode. And then it's going to be comparative to that, and probably about that, because anything else like a CBR 500 or anything like that, there's going to be even more down on power in the 40 to 50 horsepower range. So anyways, I thought this trailer was pretty cool, a way to be able to see exactly what the modes do. I've seen where the Hayabusas, I believe, they run in the range of, they make 175 horsepower or so stock in the second gens. And so C mode probably will knock it down to around 110 horsepower or so. So it's going to knock off about the same amount of horsepower, about 60 horsepower or so. This rider's knocking off 40. So in comparison, it's going to be about the same, but it's a much bigger bike. So 110 horsepower is basically going to have the power of this bike here, or actually a little bit more power, but it's going to be down because of the weight of the bike. Actually ran a second gen Hayabusa in C mode at the track, and it ran an 8.0 because it spun at 100 mile an hour. About the same as what I was running on an 06 600 that I had before, which would be basically the same as this bike here. So anyways, appreciate all of y'all. Drop down in the comments below if you can think of some other video ideas. If you got any questions, some things that we can maybe touch on here at the shop. We got a few more things going on around here at the shop that we've been working on. We got this Gixxer 1000 here. We got to put back on the dyno and do some touch up on it. He changed the exhaust on it, so we want to get that right there touched up. We're putting a transmission and a ZX10 motor over here. Got an old school GSXR 750 over here. And then we got the big lineup of other bikes here that are waiting to get worked on, or they're our bikes. So we got a CBR 1000 RR here. Customer bought it. It was wrecked, and so he's got a lot of parts that he's bought for it that we're going to try to restore it and bring it back for him. And there's old Dragonfly there. Got the R1. We still got the customer bike back there, the Hayabusa, that we took to the track. And yes, that's the one that I went slow on. I went an 8.0 on that one too. That was I ain't rode in about 6 months, and I just took one hit on it to see what it would do. And of course I went out there and embarrassed myself. But anyways, that's just all part of it. Y'all have a good one. Hold up. I know everybody's wanting to know, you're doing all this testing, got the Gixxer 600 on the dyno, how fast will a Gixxer 600 go? So I'll give you this much. The bike is geared 1 down, 2 up. So it's got a 1545 sprocket set on it. Factory is 1643. So anyways, we did make a pull in 6th gear all the way to redline to see exactly where it would shut off at, maximum mile per hour, and here we are. So maximum mile per hour, 148 mile per hour. And I went and looked it up to see what what results we would have with the, if we were to change gears and put the stock gears back on it, doing the math. And I also went and looked up what the advertised top speed is whenever you Google, what is my 08 GSXR 600 top speed at? Top speed on this bike, according to Google, is 165 mile per hour. If you put these stock gears back on it and put it back on the dyno here, it will hit 165 mile per hour on the dyno, but there's no wind here. So anyways, that's on the dyno with no wind. The bike does not make enough power. The power actually starts falling off at that speed anyways. So it's a theory that it would do 165, but it's not going to. Anyways, like I said, I just wanted to touch on that too while I was here. It was another thing I was wanting to see while I had it on the dyno. So 148 mile per hour. It would do 165 on the dyno with stock gears on it, possibly. If the math works out correctly, that would be 17 more mile per hour because of the 1 down and 2 up change that was made in the gearing. So if there was no wind at all, put it on the dyno, yes, it'll do that speed. But as far as how fast it can actually go, I just don't see it ever actually reaching those speeds. So anyways, that was just something else I just wanted to include here at the end of the video. All right, y'all have a good one.